Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's currently June 5 of 2024, and my MCAT exam is on June 22nd, although I do think I'm going to be rescheduling it. Before we start this video, if you could like, comment, and subscribe, as you can see right over here, that would be very helpful as I continue a path toward medicine while also starting YouTube as a side hustle. So, without further ado, we're going to be continuing our study of the Anki cards that I had created in my last video, while also sipping on this Red Bull. So, let's get to it. Alright, class consciousness versus false consciousness. Class consciousness is knowing where someone stands as far as their class is concerned, and false consciousness is accepting misleading messages from the upper class while not being the upper class. Adopting misleading messages. Okay. Social norms provide guidelines for new behaviors and help individuals understand the social norms provide guidelines for behaviors in new situations and help individuals understand behavior from other people. Okay. Function of the hypothalamus in the limbic system is to function of the hypothalamus in the limbic system for posterior, it's too much time, influences the physiological component. Hypothalamus influences the physiological component of emotion by regulating the pituitary gland and the autonomic nervous system. Okay, mirror neurons and vicarious emotions. Mirror neurons fire both when observing and actually doing a certain task or behavior. Observing and performing, and vicarious emotion involve the ability to intuit how someone else feels and are thought to encourage pro-social behaviors through shared emotional expression. Beliefs play a role in experience of vicarious emotions. So being able to tell how someone else feels and act on it through shared emotional expression is believed to be influenced with mirror neurons, basically. Continuous reinforcement schedules for animals. So continuous reinforcement or rewarding every increase in desirable behavior requires shaping. Reward after every desired behavior. Reward after every desired behavior. Shaping is often needed, which is for approximate approximations of the desired behavior. Rewarding successive approximations of the desired behavior. The shaping is often needed initially, and depriving the reward prior to training heightens motivation, making training easier. Function of the hypothalamus in the limbic system. The hypothalamus regulates the hypothalamus influences the physiological component of emotion by regulating the pituitary and autonomic nervous system. Mirror neurons and vicarious emotions. Mirror neurons are fired both when observing and performing a particular activity and are thought to play a role in vicarious learning, which is the ability to intuit how other people are feeling and subsequently causing a pro-social action because of that emotion through shared emotional expression. 2 factors of determining gender differences: expression and detection of emotion. Gender differences in evaluating biological and social differences in the expression and detection of emotion, thoughts or results. From what does that's the right question. From what does gender differences in the expression and detection of emotion arise? That's so complicated, bro. What factors? What factors explain the differences in detecting and expressing emotions between men and women? Gender differences, biological and social. Biological, such as genetics, and social, such as norms. So genetics and norms, basically, is what it is. Continuous reinforcement schedule for animals. Continuous reinforcement is reward after every desirable behavior. Sometimes requires shaping initial approximate successive behaviors. Rewards after initially may require shaping and depriving of the reward can sometimes increase the desirable behavior. Function of hypothalamus in the limbic system. The hypothalamus influences the physiological component of emotion by regulating pituitary and autonomic nervous system. Hypothalamus controls pituitary and autonomic nervous system. Let's say that's okay. Let's see here. Yeah, we are good. Continuing. Mirror neurons and vicarious emotions. Mirror neurons are neurons that fire both during the performance and observation of a particular activity and are thought to play a role in vicarious learning. Vicarious emotions are thought to allow people to intuit each other's feelings and motivate pro-social behavior. Encourage pro-social behavior. Differences in detecting and expressing emotions between men and women. Biological, such as genetics, and social, such as norms. Feminist theory. Macro and micro level sociological perspective that attempts to explain differences in power between men and women, explain gender inequality that occurs as a result of discriminatory and oppressive small-scale interactions and large-scale social processes. Cannon-Barr theory of emotion. Physiological arousal and experience of emotion occur simultaneously and independently. Frustration aggression theory. Being aggressive because you're frustrated. I mean, that's pretty easy if you ask me. Obedience is following an authority even if it's immoral or unethical. Schizophrenia. Positive symptoms and negative symptoms. Positive symptoms include hallucinations, delusions, incoherent speech. Negative symptoms include apathy, emotional flattening, and social withdrawal. Definition of feminist theory is that differences in power occur as a result of oppression, discrimination, and large-scale social processes. Cannon-Barr theory of emotion states that physiological responses result in emotion experience of emotion occurs simultaneously. Physiological arousal and experience of emotion occur simultaneously and independently. Flat effect of schizophrenia is defined as the negative effect means emotional flattening, aka monotone speech. Comparison of validity versus reliability for research. Validity is if the results are true or not. Reliability. Validity is accuracy, reliability is consistency. A neurodegenerative disease characterized by positive and negative symptoms. Feminist theory. Idea that oppression and discrimination occur to women because of individual interactions and large-scale processes socially, which can be macro or micro. Cannon-Barth theory of emotion states that physiological responses to emotion and the experience of emotion occur simultaneously and independently. Experience. Flat affective schizophrenia is defined as monotone speech, aka emotional flattening. Null versus alternative hypotheses. No significant difference or relationship exists between variables. Alternative assumes that significant relationship or difference does exist. So alternative is true, null is false. Basically. Comparison of validity versus reliability of research. Validity equals accuracy, reliability is consistency. Cannon-Barth theory of emotion is the idea that the physiological response to emotion and experiencing emotion occur simultaneously and independently. Flat effect of schizophrenia is defined as monotone speech or emotional flattening. Function of hypothalamus in the limbic system is to influence the physiological component of emotion by regulating the pituitary and autonomic nervous system. Null versus alternative hypothesis. Null hypothesis is that there's no difference or correlation. Alternative is that there is one. Validity is accuracy, reliability is consistency. Erickson's theory of psychosocial development. 8 stages that encompass human lifespan. Each stage is associated with a crisis involving a conflict that provides an opportunity for growth. Bystander effect, the function of it, predicts that as the number of onlookers increases, as more bystanders are present, the probability decreases. Probability of help decreases, which is explained by the diffusion of responsibility, whereby onlookers assume action will be taken by somebody else. Social constructionism. Reality is created through interactions, resulting resulting in agreed on shared needs. Continuous reinforcement schedule for animals. Rewarding every desirable behavior. Shaping sometimes needed is often needed. Shaping is successive approximate behaviors. Successful approximate behaviors. And depriving of the reward often leads to increased motivation. Reward after every desired behavior. 8 stages of psychosocial development that span life. Each stage is a crisis involving a conflict, providing an opportunity for growth. Schizophrenia, psychotic disorder, positive symptoms and negative symptoms. Hallucinations, delusions, speech. Bystander effect. As the number of onlookers increases, the probability of an onlooker helping someone in need decreases. Mirror neurons are fired both during observation and performance of a particular behavior, and is thought to influence or partake in vicarious emotion. Vicarious emotion is the ability to intuit somebody else's feelings, and subsequently vicarious emotion promotes pro-social behavior due to shared emotional response through shared emotional expression. Social constructionism, basically everything's a social construct. Feminist theory, macro and micro sociological theory, the idea that discrimination and inequality occur. Continuous reinforcement schedule for animals. What is a continuous reinforcement schedule for animals? Word after every desired behavior. Shaping is often needed. Shaping is successive approximations of the desired behavior, rewarding each of those. And then depriving of the reward leads to increased motivation. Erickson's theory of psychosocial development. There's 8 stages of psychosocial development throughout the lifespan, and each of them has a conflict that provides opportunity for growth. Schizophrenia, a neurodegenerative psychotic disease characterized by positive and negative symptoms. Psychotic disorder. Positive symptoms are hallucinations, incoherent speech, delusions. Negative symptoms are emotional flattening, monotone voice, social withdrawal, apathy. Cool. Bystander effect. More bystanders decreases the probability of receiving help. Due to diffusion of responsibility. Because everyone thinks that someone else will help out, because there's so many people. Obedience. Following the orders of an authority, even though it may be immoral or unethical. Canon Bard states that physiological response and emotional response occur simultaneously and independently. Okay. Frustration aggression theory, being aggressive because you're frustrated. Null versus alternative hypotheses. No significant difference exists between variables, whereas the alternative assumes that significant does exist. Eight stages throughout lifespan, each of them with the opportunity to grow. Function of the bystander effect. Expectation that, well, as there's more bystanders, the probability of a bystander helping someone out decreases because of diffusion of responsibility or the expectation that somebody else will step in and help. Unconditioned response. Oh. Null, no difference. Alternative, big relationship. Whoa. tone. Accuracy, reliability is consistency. Bystander effect. More bystanders probability of help decreases. Unconditioned response. Wow, we got some viewers, bro. That's crazy. It's like the first time I've looked at it. That's crazy. Function of hypothalamus in the limbic system. Hypothalamus is involved in regulating physiological responses to hypothalamus is involved in influencing the physiological component. Hypothalamus influences physiology by regulating pituitary and autonomic nervous system. Null versus alternative hypothesis. Null hypothesis states that there is no relationship or difference between variables. Alternative is that there is a strong one. Comparison of validity versus reliability of research. Validity is accuracy, reliability is consistency. Function of the bystander effect is the idea that as more bystanders are present, diffusion of responsibility increases. So, there's decreased probability of someone actually receiving the help they need. Cool. Cannon-Bard theory of emotion is the idea that physiologic responses to emotion. Physiologic response to emotion and experience of emotion happen simultaneously and independently. Cool. Hypothalamus. Influences the physiological component of emotion by regulating the pituitary and autonomic nervous system. Cool. Taste aversion. Powerful type of plastic conditioning that occurs after just one instance of becoming ill following food or beverage consumption. Bro, that's so true. Classical. Taste aversion is a real thing, I can say from first-hand experience. Alright. Everything is social construct. Extinction is Conditioned stimulus no longer produces the conditioned response in absence of the conditioned stimulus. Okay. Reliability is the consistency of a study or experiment or measure. Interesting. Also known as replicability. Function of feature detection in neurons. Feature detector neurons that preferentially fire. Preferential firing of neurons in response to specific stimuli. Extinction is the abatement of a response in classical conditioning. Melatonin regulates circadian rhythms, including body temperature and plasma cortisol levels. At 8 a.m. there's most cortisol when you're from 10 until 6. Stress, cortisol is lowest before falling asleep and is highest right after waking up. Body temperature drops when you're sleeping and rises when you're waking up. That's true for sure. Melatonin peaks during sleep and is low during daylight hours. That's common sense. So this is 24 hours and melatonin released from the pineal gland when light levels are low synchronizes the internal circadian clock according to daylight, which regulates circadian rhythms. Okay, melatonin, pineal gland, internal clock. Function of feature detection in neurons. Schizophrenia is a neurodegenerative disease, psychotic disorder characterized by positive and negative symptoms. Controls the sleep-wake cycle is pineal gland, brain. Suprachiasmatic nucleus of the hypothalamus. What? I thought it was the pineal gland. Oh no. Let's see this. Light levels impact neurons. Bro, please. Light levels impact hypothalamus. Yeah, okay, so it is right. The pineal gland for melatonin has several nuclei one of them is the SCN. Okay. That's crazy. Light levels regulate suprachiasmatic nucleus activity levels. So, what I'm learning here is that even though the pineal gland produces the melatonin, it doesn't control entirely the melatonin production and circadian clock of the human. Basically, that's crazy. So, lesson to learn here is that light levels impact neurons in the SCN of the hypothalamus, which regulates the subsequent melatonin release of the pineal gland, which establishes the body's 24-hour cycle, aka circadian clock. So that's actually very cool and impressive and epic. So we have the solution here. So the question originally was, which region of the brain would a lesion most likely disrupt sleep-wake? Definitely would be, originally I think I chose, no, I got this right actually. Yeah. I think I chose the hippocampus. I would have chosen hippocampus. Actually, no, never mind, because that's with memory consolidation. So, guys, sorry, I'm tripping. Melatonin and its effects on the circadian rhythm. Melatonin lowers body temperature, lowers released from the pineal gland, synchronizes the internal circadian clock according to daylight. Newborn sleep cycle. Bro, babies sleep all day, all night, bro. Spend most time sleeping and have the greatest proportion of REM to non-REM sleep. Total amount of time spent sleeping and the amount of time spent in REM and non-REM sleep varies with age. Bro, babies are cute, man. All they do is sleep. I wish I could go back. So I wouldn't have to be studying. Okay, chronic activation of the sympathetic nervous system, such as chronic sleep deprivation, can compromise reproductive and immune function. That makes sense. You can get, well, actually getting sick doesn't make sense to me, but chronic activation can compromise reproductive and immune function. Okay. Longitudinal versus observational longitudinal. Observational is performed as unethical or unfeasible to manipulate the variable of interest. So basically you just observe. Longitudinal. Okay. Melatonin causes people to go to sleep, apparently. Melatonin is released from the pineal gland when light levels are low, affecting sleep deprivation, lower immune functioning, lower reproductive system activity. Wait, on REM sleep. Body paralysis and brain activity resembling a waking state. Dreaming is most common. REM sleep deprivation. If you actually get low REM sleep one night, it'll rebound the next night, so you get a lot more, it seems. Okay, newborn sleep cycle. Bro, these babies just keep sleeping, bro. Total amount of time spent sleeping and the amount of time spent in REM and non-REM varies with age, but newborns spend the most time sleeping and have the greatest proportion of REM to non-REM sleep. So the key point to take away here is babies have a REM sleep. Alright, null versus alternative hypothesis. Null hypothesis is that um, there's no relationship or difference between the variables, whereas for alternative hypothesis, there's a strong difference or relationship. Correct. Chronic activation of the sympathetic nervous system can compromise reproductive and immune functioning. Taste aversion. Basically, classical conditioning with eating your favorite food with a bad experience is not good for you. Don't do it, bro. If you're undergoing chemotherapy, bro, do not eat your favorite food. End of story. Observational longitudinal study versus longitudinal study. Observational longitudinal studies are not good for studies in which the main variable of interest. An observational longitudinal study is performed when it is unethical or unfeasible to manipulate the variable of interest. Observational is when it's unethical. Okay. Function of feature detection in neurons. Bro, this is not real. Effects of sleep deprivation. REM sleep is characterized by rapid closed eye movements. Low REM sleep in one night can cause rebound REM in the next night. So if you get low amounts of REM sleep one night, you'll get more the next night. Cool. Alright, newborn sleep cycle. A lot of REM sleep. Most REM sleep you'll ever have in your life, basically. Reliability is the consistency of a study or methodology being able to produce similar results for a study. Yes, consistency. Also known as replicability. Observational longitudinal study versus longitudinal studies, the regular one, is used when the variable of interest, when it is unethical or unfeasible to manipulate the variable of interest. Unethical or unfeasible to manipulate the variable of interest. Region of the brain which controls the sleep-wake cycle is the hypothalamus, the SCN, suprachiasmatic nucleus of the hypothalamus. So that's crazy. The SCN of the hypothalamus, suprachiasmatic nucleus. Function of feature detection in neurons is... I still don't... Bro, I've seen this question like 3 or 4 times and I still have no clue what it's asking me or what it's saying. So we're gonna look at this feature detection. Function. Bro, it's not real, it's not real, it's not real. No. Feature detection involves See, this is actually a hard question, bro, because the thing is, like, only 43% of people who saw this got it right. My bad, 61, so I'm actually stupid. Detect neurons that preferentially fire in response to specific stimuli. Very specific stimuli. preferentially fire in response to a bar of light oriented at a specific angle. Different neurons similarly respond at different angles, which provides evidence for feature detection. Okay, that is epic. Observational longitudinal study is used as opposed to a regular longitudinal study when it is unethical or unfeasible to manipulate the variable of interest. Okay, thank you. Epic. Region of the brain which controls the sleep-wake cycle. The suprachiasmatic. What is the last word? Nucleus. Oh. which regulates melatonin release and establishes the 24-hour cycle circadian clock. Bro, that's crazy. Alright, cognitive behavioral therapy. Replace negative thoughts with healthy thoughts. Replace negative thoughts with healthy thoughts. Cool. Implicit memory. Memory for things that cannot be consciously recalled, such as skills. Yeah, you don't consciously recall. Non-declarative memory is known as implicit memory. It is for things that cannot be consciously recalled, such as skills, tasks, emotions, and reflexes. Region of the brain which controls the sleep-wake cycle is the suprachiasmatic nucleus, which regulates the melatonin release. Social facilitation versus social impairment. Mere presence enhances performance. Presence of others hinders performance on difficult or unfamiliar tasks. Enhance performance on easy, well-rehearsed tasks. Due to the enhanced level of arousal caused by the mere presence of other people. Interesting. That's very interesting. Two aspects of the dramaturgical approach. Front stage behavior is similar to acting on stage for an audience. The most favorable version. Backstage behaviors without fear of criticism. That makes a lot of sense. Implicit memory, aka non-declarative memory, is memory for things that cannot be consciously recalled. I'm not sure. Melatonin synchronizes the internal circadian clock, including body temperature and plasma cortisol levels. Social facilitation versus impairment. Social facilitation is when the mere presence of others enhances a person's activity. Impairment is when it decreases. Performance is the word. Cool. Factors of attribution theory: dispositional and situational attribution. Explain behavior using internal causes or external causes. That makes a lot of sense. So internal is dispositional, external is situational. Implicit memory is non-declarative memory for things that cannot be consciously recalled, such as skills, tasks, emotions, and reflexes. Classically conditioned responses rely on implicit memory. That's crazy. Melatonin and its effects on the circadian rhythm. Melatonin creates an internal circadian clock. According to daylight, released from the pineal gland. Circadian clock regulates body temperature, plasma cortisol levels, cortisol, temperature, melatonin from the pineal gland produces the internal circadian clock. The internal circadian clock affects body temperature and cortisol levels. Two factors of attribution theory are internal and external factors. Internal is dispositional, situational is external. Explaining behavior is good. Interactionist theory of language development is the idea that interactionist theory of language development social and biological factors determine language acquisition. Implicit memory. Implicit is non-declarative memory, which means that it is for things that cannot be consciously recalled. Let me see an example of this, because this is not real, bro. Conditioned fear response during phase 2 implicit. Here's 2 examples of implicit memory that I can use for this card. Here. Let's just put this whole line actually, and we'll add this in here as an extra card. Extra section to help us understand further. So implicit memory, if you're like, you smell something from your childhood, a familiar scent, that will trigger implicit memory. Cannot be consciously recalled. That makes a lot of sense now. Interactionist theory of language development is the idea that Language development is based on biological and social factors. Social factors, interaction, reinforcement, and motivation to communicate, but children require interaction with caregivers early in life to learn interaction, but they are also predisposed to learning language in a way that is different from how they learn other skills. Interactionist theory of language acquisition is the idea that biological and social factors constitute to language development. Biologically speaking, normal brain development is a major contributing factor for language development and acquisition. However, it is not solely limited to biological factors and also includes social factors such as interaction, reinforcement, and motivation to communicate. Cool beans, bro, cool beans. The effects of sleep deprivation on REM sleep. If you get low REM sleep one night, you'll have REM sleep rebound, which is the accumulation of further REM sleep in the subsequent day. That makes a lot of sense, bro. Cool. Two aspects of dramaturgical approach. There's front stage behavior and backstage behavior. Front stage behavior is putting on your best self and being like, oh my god, I'm presenting in front of everybody. Backstage is like, you can relax and you don't need to perform. And it's free from evaluation or judgment by others. That makes sense. Implicit memory. Non-declarative memory. Memory that is not able to be summoned at any given point. Things that cannot be consciously recalled. That makes a lot of sense. Monoamine hypothesis. Depletion of monoamine neurotransmitters such as serotonin, norepinephrine, and dopamine cause depression symptoms. Bro. I'm not gonna say whether I agree with that personally or not, but I can see how it is and isn't true at the same time. It's a hypothesis. Monoamine hypothesis states that depletion of monoamine neurotransmitters causes depression. Okay, function of feature detection in neurons. Feature neurons detect a specific kind of stimuli. Specific stimuli. Cool. Cognitive behavioral therapy. Using positive thoughts to replace negative thoughts. Replace negative thoughts with healthy thoughts. Observational longitudinal study is used as opposed to a longitudinal study when it is unethical or unfeasible to alter the variable of interest. Excuse me. Melatonin and its effects on circadian rhythm. The melatonin creates an internal circadian clock which regulates core temperature and cortisol levels. In considering data from a meta-analysis, comparisons cannot be made if individual studies used different methodologies. Yeah. Monoamine hypothesis states that the depletion of a monoamine neurotransmitter results in depression, such as dopamine or serotonin. Cool. Nucleus accumbens. That's our nucleus accumbens. What does it do? Stimulation of a nucleus accumbens may help alleviate anhedonia, allowing pleasure. That's crazy. Cognitive behavioral therapy is the idea of replacing negative thoughts with healthy ones. Cool. Placebo. inactive substance or sham procedure used in an experiment as a comparison to the real treatment. Although they're often helpful in assessing the true benefit of a treatment, it may be unethical if a sham procedure could result in harm, such as in placebo deep brain stimulation. Antidepressant functions by four mechanisms. Definition of an antidepressant and its four main mechanisms of action. So, increase the function of one or more transmitters by increased production, promote release, block reabsorption, block reuptake, increase production, promote release, inhibit reuptake, or decrease breakdown. Interesting. Nucleus accumbens, the function of the nucleus accumbens. In the context of anhedonia, the nucleus accumbens, when stimulated with deep brain stimulation, can result in possibly, idealistically, treating anhedonia. Cool. I'm going to rename this card because it's not clear. Nucleus accumbens function in the context of DBS, deep brain stimulation, and anhedonia. Okay, cool. Placebo is inactive substance or sham procedure used as a comparison to the real treatment to assess the true benefit of a treatment. I mean, I know what that is, kind of. Interactionist theory of language development. Interactionist theory is the idea that language acquisition is based on biological and social factors. Biological and social. Yeah. Antidepressant. Increase the function of one or more transmitters within the synaptic cleft by increasing production, inhibiting reuptake, promoting the release of more transmitters, or decreasing the breakdown. Okay. Corpus callosum. Right. Allows communication between the left and right hemispheres. Like, comment, and subscribe. Serial position effect is the idea that we only remember the endpoints of a series. States of the brain. Which states of the brain are EEG measurements used for beta waves when you're awake, alpha when you're relaxed, theta when you're falling asleep, stage 2 sleep theta with spindles and K complexes, and delta waves when you're deep in sleep, and REM sleep. Similar to beta waves in appearance, but lower amplitude, I would assume. Okay, basically, bro, it's 3:45, that's crazy. Electroencephalogram basically measures different stages of the sleep cycle, brain waves, electrical impulses of the brain. Implicit memory, non-declarative memory, cannot be consciously recalled, such as a familiar smell, triggering a memory. Emotional reflexive memory, or procedural memory. corpus callosum allows communication between left and right hemispheres of the brain. Cortical lateralization. Social desirability bias, tendency to provide the most favorable or socially acceptable responses to research questions, overemphasizing positive while downplaying the undesirable. Semantic memory, knowledge about facts. Bro, I know somebody who has a lot of semantic memory, or a lot of knowledge, but they think they're really smart because of it, which is not true. I don't know, bro. Episodic memory, personal experiences, literally just remembering something that happened to you. Long-term versus declarative memory. Long-term is implicit, non-declarative, how to do something. Declarative is facts and episodic memory. So declarative seems like things you can recall, non-declarative seems like things that you have to show or something. I don't know, bro. Definition of spreading activation in the context of semantic long-term memory. Semantic long-term memory is thought to be stored in a semantic network. Spreading activation suggests that when a node is activated, the nodes directly connected to that node are then activated as well, aka such as in primate. Social desirability bias. Dang it, I just went over this one and I forgot it. Oh yeah, just exaggerating acceptable responses and downplaying undesirable. Semantic memory. Semantic memory. Knowledge about facts. Front stage behavior, which is presenting for other people, acting professional, and fearing judgment. Backstage behavior is not fearing judgment. Episodic memory, remembering certain events, personal experiences. Long-term versus declarative memory. Long-term memory. Implicit, non-declarative. Explicit, declarative. How to, what is. Facts. Oh, actually long-term is bigger because it includes how to and what is, but declarative is just facts and personal experiences. Wait. Declarative memory is a type of long-term memory. Time to consult UWorld again. Long-term memory includes implicit. Long-term memory includes spreading activation. Okay, what's the question here? Vocabulary recall most directly assessed which of the following types of memory? What is this study saying? this chart is very helpful for a mental breakdown of what is going on here. A visual breakdown, rather, to assist my mental faculties. Alright. Long-term memory is for the duration of the lifetime. The capacity is unlimited. Explicit and declarative memory includes episodic and semantic memory. Implicit and non-declarative memory is procedural and emotional memory. Memory is a weird word now, bro. Bro, please. Okay, that actually makes a little bit more sense. Implicit memory is not things that you can consciously conjure, but explicit memory is stuff you can consciously conjure, such as facts and episodic memory, your own experiences. Okay, cool beans. Definition of spreading activation in the context of semantic long-term memory. Semantic long-term memory is thought to be stored as a network of interconnected concepts. Spreading activation suggests that when a node is activated, nodes directly connected to that node are then activated as well. So that makes sense. Social desirability bias. Saying or exaggerating positive things and downplaying negative things or undesirable things. Tendency of research. Social desirability bias for research studies. For research studies. That way I don't forget that the educational objective states that describes their tendency of research participants to provide the most favorable or socially acceptable responses to research questions. So social desirability bias is only applicable to research studies. Participants may be able to overemphasize positive behaviors while downplaying or underreporting. Overemphasize positive, underreport undesirable. Okay. Implicit memory is memory such as riding a bike. Bro, I don't know how to describe it. It's memory that's long-term but not explicit memory. So like, not facts or not... Yeah, things that literally cannot be consciously recalled, as evident from my response. Things that cannot be consciously recalled. Aha! Long-term versus declarative memory. Long-term memory includes implicit and explicit memory. Declarative memory includes semantic memory, such as facts. I'm going to change this card to say declarative memory, because declarative memory is a type of long-term memory. as well as non-declarative memory, which is implicit memory. Spreading activation theory is that when you're reminded of something that's related node-wise, then it also gets activated, basically. Bro, I didn't mean to do a card spill. Increase production, promote release, inhibit reuptake, prevent breakdown. Antidepressant is something that increases the function of one or more neurotransmitters within the synaptic cleft. Okay. Social desirability bias, overemphasizing positive responses and downplaying undesirable responses or behaviors. Behaviorism. Whoa. What happened? The study of operant conditioning on people's behaviors. Makes sense. The study of operant conditioning on people's behaviors. Characteristics of OCD, obsessing about things, and or compulsions. Obsessions and or compulsions. Biopsychosocial model of mental illness. Mental illness is the result of interaction between biological, psychological, and social factors. Biomedical models suggest that mental illness is caused by chemical imbalances in the brain, but biopsychosocial model suggests that mental illness is the result of biological, psychological, and social factors interacting together. Hormonal effects on brain, appetite, and stress. Corpus callosum is the structure which allows communication between left and right hemispheres of the brain. Which are specialized for certain functions. Language is in the left hemisphere. Corpus callosum allows communication between the right and left hemispheres of the brain. Language centers are located in the left hemisphere. Behaviorism. Behaviorism. The study of operant conditioning on people's behaviors. That was easy. Characteristics of OCD include obsessions and or compulsions. Repetitive behaviors meant to neutralize obsessions. Obsessions are recurrent thoughts or distressing thoughts. Actually, I'm gonna do that as good because I'm not sure. Biopsychosocial model of mental illness states that biological, psychological, and social factors interact create mental illness or constitute toward mental illness. Differs from the biomedical model, which suggests that mental illness is caused by chemical imbalances in the brain. So it has to do with mental illness only. Mental illness. Episodic memory is a form of explicit memory dealing with personal experiences. Allows communication between the left and right hemispheres of the brain. cortical lateralization is the idea that the left and right sides of the brain are specialized for certain functions. Cool. Implicit memory is things that cannot be memory that can't be consciously evoked. Rationalization, making excuses for unacceptable thoughts or behaviors. Basically, it's an ego defense mechanism, generating an excuse for unacceptable behavior or thought. Cool. Mental illness is derived from biological, psychological, and social factors, differing from the biomedical model suggesting that mental illness is due to chemical imbalances in the brain. Epic. Hence for control subjects. Oh, basically a control group. Kind of similar to a placebo, in a sense. Provide a useful comparison to subjects in a study. Subjects of interest in the study. Should be as similar to treatment of subjects as possible, except for the variable of interest. These guys are given the placebo. Heuristics. Mental shortcuts that save time but may lead to inaccurate judgments. Representativeness heuristic, tendency to compare things to mental prototypes. Availability heuristic is the tendency to believe that if something is easily recalled from memory, it must be common or likely. This card is hard, bro. Shortcut. Heuristic. Representative heuristic. Tendency to compare things to mental prototypes. Availability heuristic. Tendency to believe that if something is easily recalled from memory, it must be common or likely. It's kind of like a mental delusion, in a sense. May lead to delusions or something. I don't know. Declarative memory is explicit memory, including semantic memory and explicit memory. It is a type of semantic and episodic is the term. Experiences, explicit, semantic, implicit, procedural, emotional. Cool. Am I just good this card? Heuristics are mental shortcuts that often lead to inaccuracies. Representativeness heuristic means that if something is conjured tendency to compare things to mental prototypes. Availability heuristic, how easily something comes to memory. If it's easily recalled from memory, it's common or likely. Bro, this card is hard, bro. Spreading activation in the context of semantic long-term memory is the idea that... Oh my god. Semantic long-term memory is thought to be stored as a network of interconnected concepts in a semantic network. Spreading activation suggests that when a node in the semantic network is activated, Bro, I need it. This is treacherous. When a node is activated, the nodes directly connected to that node are activated as well. Heuristics. Availability heuristic and representativeness heuristic. Availability. How easily something comes to memory. How well something matches a mental prototype. Representativeness. Availability. How easily it's available in the head. It must be common. The representativeness heuristic is the tendency. So they're just tendencies. Heuristics are tendencies. If you have an availability heuristic, you have a tendency to believe that if it's easily recalled from memory, it's probably likely. So basically, that's crazy, bro. That's actually pretty meta. Cause like, it's your own brain having a delusion, basically. Like, if you're able to think of something quicker, to think that it's more common. What if our brains have a defect or something, you know? I don't know. It's definitely our own thoughts are not reflective of the truth all the time. Availability heuristic. If we think of something frequently, that makes us think it's more common. But it's a heuristic, which leads to inaccuracy. So it's a shortcut. Maybe helpful, not necessarily always. Excuse me. Representativeness heuristic. If something matches a mental model, tendency to compare things to mental prototypes. A woman dressed in scrubs is a nurse rather than a surgeon. Okay, that makes sense, I guess. Not sexist. Inshallah. Social desirability bias. Hint for research studies. Describes the tendency of research participants to provide the most favorable or socially acceptable responses while underemphasizing or underreporting undesirable things. Good. Characteristics of OCD. Presence of obsessions and or compulsions. Corpus callosum provides communication between the left and right hemispheres of the brain. Rationalization is ego defense mechanisms, dealing with unacceptable thoughts and behaviors that cause anxiety. Bro, I know some people that do these things. That's crazy. Bro. Some of these are like, they're just funny, bro. I'm gonna screenshot that, bro. Cause that's just funny. Alright. Heuristics, availability, mental shortcuts that may or may not be accurate, likely inaccurate. Availability heuristic means that if you're easily able to think of something, that maybe therefore it's more common, but that's a heuristic, so it's not true. Representativeness heuristic is the idea that if something, how well something matches a mental prototype, assuming a woman dressed in scrubs is a nurse rather than a surgeon. We finished. Alhamdulillah. 2.14 hours. Guys, it's not enough. It's not enough. Alright, let's see here. Okay, please like, comment, and subscribe. As you can see right over there on the screen. I'll see you guys next time.